This is something you don't see every day, a green Audi. This is the 2021 Audi A5 Sportback, the second generation model, which has recently been facelifted in Malaysia, and I think it does a splendid job of pulling off Audi's distinct green paint job. Now it looks really nice because this is the range-topping advanced model, so it gets nicer bumpers, very nice 19-inch alloy wheels. It's a very handsome car overall, but it's not just about the spec or the paint. I think Audi deserves some props for how it distinguishes the A5 Sportback from the A4, considering the A5 Sportback is essentially the 4-door version of the 2-door car of the 4-door A4. Now, what that means is that if you come a little bit closer, and as you get into the car, you will notice that you get a set of very nice frameless windows, which I really love. Now, I'll show you what's in store inside. The interior of the A5 Sportback is not quite as adventurous as the exterior suggests. It's still very corporate, very Audi inside. Not that it's bad. I mean, it's worth noting that Audi is one of the pioneers of digitizing their whole cabin with the virtual cockpit and MMI, and it still looks pretty good. The problem is now that everyone else has caught up, the novelty is wearing off a little bit. Speaking of the MMI, it's one of the bigger changes compared to the pre-facelift A5 Sportback and other Audis on sale. It has gone full touchscreen, which is great. It looks a little bit like an aftermarket item given the size. It really stands out, but it's pretty easy to use, very intuitive. The thing I find awkward is that now this has gone full touchscreen. The control panel, the knob, the MMI knob here, that has been replaced by this little compartment which feels very old school and it doesn't quite gel with the rest of the car. There is a small badge that says Quattro here because this is the 2.0 TFSI Quattro model, which means that you get 249 PS and 370 Newton meters of torque, going to all four wheels via a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Now, this is one of the smoothest force-inducted powertrains I've driven in a long time. It picks up speed in such a linear fashion. It is so nice to drive. And the suspension, very well sorted also. Even though it's not adaptive, it's a fixed sports suspension, but I think it works pretty well on Malaysian roads. So overall, it's a very nice and dynamic package, but all of that comes at a price. Now, the big one, the price. If you want to get your hands on one of these, you'll need to cough out close to 380,000 ringgit. It's a lot of money, but not so surprising considering this is a fully imported car. But if you are shopping in that ballpark, I mean, there is the big question of whether you should add on just a little bit to get your hands on something like the BMW M340i or the Mercedes-AMG C43, both of which are locally assembled, giving you a bit more performance for your money. But if your heart is set on the 4 rings, you want something that looks this good, that's different, and very competent on the road, this one should not disappoint. For a more in-depth review, you can visit us on topgear.com.my, and I'll see you in the next one.